But as you can imagine, after all those people were out there in line all that time, cleanup in full swing today at State Farm Stadium. 12 News journalist Jade Cunningham takes a closer look at that and also some of the questions people have. Who paid for a lot of this? And so Jade, fill us in.
Yeah, that was kind of the big question, is who was going to be paying for all of this. You know, as people made their way into State Farm Stadium, there was a noticeable amount of trash and personal belongings that, of course, were left behind, most likely because those items weren't allowed inside. And we also were curious about the funding for cleanup and learned while the city of Glendale was responsible for the areas around the venue, cleanup on property was built into the cost of the event, which we also learned was paid for and rented by Turning Point USA. Now, specific costs and numbers were not released to us because it was a privately contracted event. We reached out to the city of Glendale about cleanup, but our requests were not returned and haven't been returned yet. But by 10 or 11 o'clock this morning, streets were clean, though still closed, as crews continued putting away equipment and other things. And I was able to speak with Glendale police today about what happened yesterday, how it all went, because, you know, with such a large crowd, we just wanted to know if it was smooth. And they say no tickets, citations, or arrests were made.
When you gather that many people, there's bound to be something that takes place. And it was really neat to see that everybody got along, everybody had that compassion for each other and for the event, and there was no major issues or anything that we had to respond to.
And I also reached out to DPS because their troopers were helping inside State Farm Stadium. They also say that no arrests were made. And just a side note, you know, I was able to drive around the area today. I knocked on a couple of doors because there is a neighborhood close to State Farm Stadium just to ask how they felt about all the trash and cleanup and everything. Nobody really wanted to talk on camera. Some people telling me there were some frustrations yesterday just with all the road closures and traffic and, of course, the trash that was left behind. But they were happy to see that everything was picked up and everything appears to be back to normal. We will have coming up more tonight at 6 p.m. Guys.
All right, Jay. Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up because I have seen a lot going around on social media about the trash out there. But just to be totally clear on that, you were out there today, drove around the neighborhoods, and you didn't see trash left behind.
I did not. It was pretty clean out there, I will say that.
All right. Jay, thank you for that. You can find more coverage from yesterday's memorial on our website, 12news.com.